All right. Well, let's move on to this next portion. So there's different procedures that you have to follow when working here, just for sharing information and being able to work through how to do different things working for the Modern Music Academy. So what we created was a teacher portal. So we'll discuss how to communicate with us the best possible ways. This is our website. It's www.themodernmusicacademy.com. And there's a section here that if you click on these three lines, it's going to take you to all of the stuff that we offer and all of our different things. But the biggest part here for you is the teacher portal. So we're clicking on that teacher portal. That's going to open that up. And I've already logged in, but it's a login, and it's just TMMA teacher, all lowercase, and that's going to get you in here. All right, and it's going to give you a lot of options here. So here's Wellness Living. This is the scheduling software that we use that you've already watched the video on, and then we're going to start getting into how to handle certain things and some of the procedures and of what we run here. So one of the big ones is a late or no-show student. So a late cancel. So student calls in same day. The lesson's at 4:30. They call it at 3. I can't make the lesson. Okay, so you are studentless at that point, or they just don't show up. My student at 3:30, they just nope, they flaked. So what we need to do is be able to reflect that and have that as basically know that you have handled that. So we're going to click this button, and it's going to take us to where we can let the administrators know that that happened. And what that does is this allows them to reflect it in the schedule that this student was a no-show or they canceled late, and it gets you your payment for that time. So you put your name in here, you put your email address, the late cancel or absent student's name, the date of the missed lesson, and the time that that lesson was, okay? And then this is going to go through the options that you have, right? I will bank the time of the missed lesson. What that means is that you will actually take that time, put it in a little cubby somewhere, and when we have something going on, such as the street fair or recitals, you're going to use that time to cover the costs of that. You're going to use that banked half an hour to cover that. It's basically a way that we can justify your work, right? Because you're a contractor. Write a lesson plan for the missed lesson. Okay, this is where you utilize the time that the student was there, and you're going to write a lesson plan that will go along with that. What you do is there's a little bit of a format I can give you if you need help with that, and then you make that into a Google Doc, and then you give us the shared link for that. Make sure that you click on the area when you go to share, that it's anybody that has that link can view that. Okay, if you make it private, that means that it's only me that's invited to it, and then we're going to be driving you nuts for passwords and stuff. So make sure you go to anyone with the link can view. All right. The other last option here is I will not invoice for missed lesson. And we have teachers that just say, okay, well, that student can't make it, doesn't matter, I'm just not going to invoice for it. That is your call. This is how we give you those options, all right? And then this bottom one is how many consecutive lessons has this student missed? If they miss more than 2, we would consider them at jeopardy of possibly leaving, or there's a problem that we want to address. So this is pretty important. We want to keep your students, okay? And then you can click submit. All right, so moving on, we have our student email request. Meaning, let's say you have a student, you want to tell them to pick up a book, or, hey, Johnny did really, really, really well today. You fill this form out, and we email that over to the student. The reason why we separate that and we don't want you to be contacting students primarily is that we don't want parents relying on you to handle cancellations and all these things, because they will get comfortable saying, well, I emailed somebody over at the school and they knew it, but yet in our schedule it's not reflecting those things, which means that when you go and invoice us, it's not going to match, and which means we're going to send it back to you, and there's going to be a back and forth, and it's going to prolong your payment. So this is very simple. It's self-explanatory. Okay, teacher cancellation. So if you need to be to not go to a lesson, and maybe 2 weeks, then you would fill out this teacher cancellation form. Okay, and you can read all of this, and basically you fill this out. You say whether or not you're able to get a sub or not. We do require 2 weeks prior notice. If it's an emergency, how many emergencies do any of us really have in our lives? If you have one, great, let us know. We can work that out. But this is more for, okay, I know, Grandpa Jim has his, is going to have his 50th wedding anniversary. I know the dates. I'm going to not be able to teach my lessons. You fill this out and you let us know how you want to handle it. It's very self-explanatory, and you can go through all of the different options here to do that. Okay. If you need to change your schedule altogether, okay, so this is where you fill this out. You tell us which days you currently teach, the times you teach on specific days, and the days you are now requiring, the days that you want to switch that to. Okay, and then the reason why, just for us to kind of let the students know, hey, look, they're changing because, they took on another job. That's amazing, and we want to support them in this, and that's great. And then if you have made any arrangements to have your students covered, some teachers like to have other teachers take over certain people. So we want to make sure that that option is checked off also. Okay, so we're going to go back, and all right. Financial inquiries. If you have a problem with a check, if there's something that's going on, you haven't received your check within 30 days, you need to let us know immediately. Or if you feel you left something off or there's a mistake, you fill this form out, and then you can get yourself taken care of. This is also self-explanatory. And then this goes to our billing department, and they will write you back. This is not set up yet, but we'd like to build our sub list. This will be an area that you can find subs for your students if you have to be absent. These are approved subs. Substitutes at the Modern Music Academy have to go through every bit of the rigorousness and turning everything in as you are doing currently or have done to be hired, okay? We don't just let somebody off the street come and sub. They have to have gone through background checks. They have to be approved through the school. So that's our student portal. Our teacher portal, and I hope you use this, and if you have questions, again, feel free to ask.